I felt the floor sway, not out of surprise, but because everything I had suspected finally snapped into place. The heaviness in my chest didn't fall away. It settled there, cold and unmoving. She'd actually done it. And worse, she was pleased with herself. I watched her sip her drink like she'd just shared some harmless story. But betrayal wrapped in humor still tastes bitter, metallic, and impossible to wash out. Around us the party kept buzzing. Someone laughing too loudly in the background, maybe an uncle, but it all blurred into distant noise. I inhaled, counted to 3, and smiled back at her. She really believed I never saw any of this coming. Years ago, the first time she pocketed money from me, just a 20, I let it slide. She was 15, I was 17. Our dad had just walked out, and I convinced myself she was acting out of fear, not malice. She used to cling to me during thunderstorms, crying into my shirts, asking if I'd ever disappear the way he did. I promised I wouldn't. I meant it. She didn't. As we got older, her tricks sharpened. Clothes she borrowed vanished. Shared passwords turned into unexplained charges. Apologies became polished little speeches meant to soften me. And whenever I confronted her, she'd collapse into tears, choking out promises to do better. I wanted to believe her so badly. Sometimes trust turns patient people into puppets. The real change started half a year ago. An email about a credit limit bump I never applied for. A fraud alert from a place I'd never been. A bill 10 times what it should have been. At first, I blamed clerical errors. Then I blamed myself for being careless. But the moment I found the open envelope under her mattress, my offer letter ripped open. The truth finally stared me down. She hadn't stolen my card. She'd stolen me. Most people would react by screaming or breaking something. I didn't. I sat on her bed, folded the letter neatly, and began thinking. Revenge doesn't need rage. It needs accuracy. I started by shutting down her access, new passwords, new verifications. Then I froze the credit she'd been milking. I gathered screenshots, statements, timestamps, enough to trace her entire trail. The meeting with the bank was calm, almost clinical. They inspected the forged signature, frowned at the sloppy loops that were unmistakably hers. "Anyone else able to access your mail?" the investigator asked. "Yes," I said evenly. "I know who." He nodded. "We'll move forward." And so I waited. Revenge, when crafted correctly, is like setting a trap you simply step back from. Her Hawaii trip was her victory dance. One last indulgence before the ground vanished under her feet. At the dinner table, she spun her straw, tipsy and untouchable, while our mom waved my card like she was revealing a party trick. I pretended to sputter. "You used my card?" I asked, shaky and small, playing my part perfectly. She laughed. "Relax, Tar. You'll be fine." "Oh, I know," I said, sliding my unlocked phone across the table. Her grin froze when she saw the email displayed. Fraud investigation. Final review. Suspect confirmed. She opened it, and the color drained from her face. Mom leaned in, alarmed. "What is that?" I answered calmly. "The report. They traced everything to one address. This one, her devices." I looked right at my sister. "Asterisk your asterisk devices." The room went silent. Even the background chatter faded like someone had turned the volume down. She stared at me, voice cracking. "Taran, you wouldn't do this." "I didn't," I replied softly. "Asterisk you asterisk did. You bragged about it tonight in front of everyone." Her chair screeched backward as panic took over. "You're framing me." "No," I said almost kindly. "I just stopped cleaning up after you." Mom gasped as everything she'd ignored for years crashed into her all at once. She held the card like it was scalding hot. I stood, laid my napkin on the table, and said, "The investigator is calling me tomorrow. They said the evidence is undeniable." Honestly, it really was. My sister tried to speak, but her voice collapsed. For the first time ever, she had nothing left to take. Outside, the night air felt sharp and clean. I walked to my car without rushing. People imagine revenge as something blazing and loud, but really it's quiet, like a door closing gently behind you, like a weight slipping off your shoulders. I didn't ruin her. She built the pit herself and stepped into it. All I did was stop pulling her back out. And God, it felt good